The dazzling stage lights, the roaring applause. These are the moments every artist yearns for and dedicates their entire life to. People often say, to die doing what you love is a profound blessing, the ultimate joy of being immersed in your passion until your very last breath. But what happens when that philosophy transforms into a raw tragedy, a chillingly haunting truth? When musicians play their final note, actors recite their last lines on stage, or television personalities make one final appearance before an audience. They depart under dire circumstances and in full view of thousands. These cruel moments leave an indelible trauma for those who witness them, turning laughter into choked sobs and the spotlight into a shroud of mourning. Join Timeless Rewind as we explore the fates of those who forever rested where they truly belonged. Dimebag Darrell Abbott, rock legend. Collapses on stage, shocking live shooting. The magnetic allure of a concert, especially within the intimate confines of a small club, lies in the astonishingly close connection between artists and their audience, with no barriers in between. However, that very proximity sometimes comes with terrifyingly lax security measures. A fatal oversight laid bare this grim truth on the fateful night of December 8, 2004, during an electrifying performance by the rock band Damageplan at the Alrosa Villa Club in Columbus, Ohio. Damageplan was a promising new project formed by Dimebag, Darrell Abbott, the legendary guitarist from Pantera after that band's dissolution. Nathan Gale, a 25-year-old former Marine with a troubled mental health history, stealthily entered the club, armed with a firearm, and stormed onto the stage just moments after Damageplan began playing. In a flash, mere seconds into the song, the blazing stage instantly transformed into hell, as Gale coldly opened fire on Abbott. That horrific moment instantly claimed the life of the 38-year-old guitarist, along with fan Nathan Bray, crew member Jeff Thompson, and club employee Aaron Halk. The entire scene plunged into chaos. Screams tore through the formerly fervent air, leaving a profound haunting in the minds of the hundreds of onlookers. Gale was also shot down by a police officer right there at the scene. Darrell's tragic and violent death sent shockwaves globally, not just through the metal music community but across the broader music industry. Although many speculations circulated about Gale's motives, no definitive cause was ever confirmed, leaving a haunting question mark over this silent tragedy. His musical legacy lives on, but this tragedy serves as a grim reminder of the lurking dangers that perpetually haunt any public space, especially where fans and idols come together. 2. Richard Versalle, resounding tenor and a fateful line. Opera, a classical art form, frequently portrays emotional tragedies, immersing audiences in worlds of suffering and loss, all safely contained within the realm of storytelling. However, at the Metropolitan Opera in New York, an unforeseen event blurred the thin line between stage tragedy and real-life sorrow, creating a haunting spectacle of art imitating life. In January 1996, during a performance of The Macropoulos Case, opera singer Richard Versalle was embodying the character of Vitek, an elderly law office employee. The opening scene required Versalle to ascend a library-style ladder to file away a document. As he delivered the fateful, chilling line, echoing throughout the auditorium, "Too bad you can only live so long," life imitated art with a terrifying, heart-wrenching accuracy. Versalle unexpectedly plummeted from the ladder, the crashing sound tearing through the performance's silence. This tragic fall was not part of the act. It was a raw, undeniable truth. The 63-year-old tenor, who had graced many grand stages across Europe and the world with his powerful voice, suffered a fatal heart attack, causing him to lose his balance and pass away right there. His death was a massive shock to opera enthusiasts and the entire world, a grim testament to how fragile the line between art and reality can sometimes be. It serves as a haunting reminder of life's fragility, where a simple line became a tragic prophecy for the artist himself. Nick Menza, former Megadeth drummer, collapses mid-performance. The concept of a death befitting a metal icon holds a raw, brutal beauty, perfectly aligning with the very essence of the music genre. Nick Menza embodied that spirit completely. Before his sudden demise, Menza was an indispensable member of the legendary band Megadeth, holding the crucial drummer position throughout the 1990s. He solidified his talent across iconic albums like Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction, contributing significantly to the band's distinctive sound. Menza's talent extended beyond Megadeth. He also collaborated with various other bands, showcasing his diverse musical range. In May 2016, during an electrifying performance with OHM, a project initiated by his former Megadeth bandmate guitarist Chris Poland, at the Baked Potato Jazz Club in Los Angeles, Menza's heart tragically ceased to beat. According to reports from emergency responders, the 51-year-old drummer unexpectedly collapsed right on stage midway through the third song of the set, seemingly from a massive heart attack. The entire venue was plunged into panic, the music fading into silence, replaced by screams and the desperate efforts of those around him. He was swiftly transported to a nearby hospital, but heartbreakingly, he was pronounced dead upon arrival. His sudden passing was a huge shock to fans and the metal community, a poignant reminder of life's fragility even for the most vibrant artists, those who dedicated their lives to the music they pursued. Sib Hashian, former Boston drummer, collapses on cruise ship. As an original pillar of the band Boston, drummer Sib Hashian contributed to the rhythm section on two of the era's most monumental rock albums, Boston, which sold an impressive 17 million copies, and Don't Look Back, with 7 million units sold. Those glorious days, however, belonged to a bygone era, and the demand for Boston's music had gradually diminished over time. In his later years, Hashian joined other rock legends on the nostalgic Legends of Rock Cruise tour. Music devotees on this cruise were immersed in classic tunes from former members of illustrious bands like Foreigner, Kansas, the Beach Boys, and of course, Boston. Unfortunately, in 2017, Hashian embarked on what would be his final voyage, departing Miami in March for a series of Caribbean destinations. Heartbreakingly, during one of the performances at sea, the 67-year-old drummer unexpectedly collapsed right behind his drum kit. Despite the ship's medical team's diligent efforts to revive him, Hashian could not be saved. Reports indicated that Hashian had been battling kidney cancer in the months leading up to his death. This diagnosis, coupled with his passing during a performance, was a significant blow to the rock community. The incident occurred during a live performance on the cruise, but it remains unclear whether the performance was being broadcast or publicly recorded at the time. Jerome Rodale, health guru, dies after declaring he'd live to 100. In the mid-20th century, Jerome Rodale, also known as J.I. Rodale, was a pioneer in unconventional health practices. He strongly advocated for the consumption of antibiotic-free, locally sourced foods, believing these habits would significantly extend human lifespan. Rodale spent years writing books and giving lectures on these methods, confidently asserting they would help him live to 100. On June 7, 1971, while appearing on a pre-recorded episode of ABC's The Dick Cavett Show, this 72-year-old proponent of longevity confidently and optimistically declared that he had never felt better and boasted that he would live to 100. However, a tragic irony unfolded. Just minutes after his self-assured declaration, while still sitting on stage and Cavett was speaking with another guest, Rodale suddenly became motionless and emitted a disturbing, low noise that sent chills down one's spine. His face turned pale, his mouth agape, marking his unexpected death right there on the show, witnessed by the live audience, proving that life can sometimes be unpredictably ironic. Rodale passed away right there on stage. His ironically timed departure just minutes after his declaration of longevity became a haunting story about the fragility of life. It's a reminder that even those most resolute in controlling their health cannot defy fate. Colonel Bruce Hampton collapses at his 70th birthday celebration. Regardless of whether you are a fan of jam bands like Grateful Dead, Fish, and the String Cheese Incident, with their extended improvised guitar jams, you owe a deep debt of gratitude to Colonel Bruce Hampton. He was known as the patriarch of the jam music scene and collaborated with countless other famous groups. In May 2017, an event bringing together Hampton's colleagues, admirers, and fellow musicians took place at the prestigious Fox Theater in Atlanta. The party, titled Hampton 70, a celebration of Coline, Bruce Hampton was held to celebrate his 70th birthday, which had been the day before. During that party, in a vibrant and exhilarating performance, As young guitar prodigy Taz Niederauer was astounding the audience with his skills, Hampton unexpectedly dropped to his knees, leaning on a speaker, a posture no one realized would be his last. Completely unaware of the seriousness of the situation, Niederauer, along with members from Blues Traveler and Widespread Panic, continued to play Turn On Your Love Light, while Hampton had tragically taken his final breath. Reverend Jeff Mosier, a banjo artist participating in the event, shared on Facebook that initially everyone thought Hampton kneeling was a playful gesture, showing admiration for Niederauer's talent, rather than an indication of distress. Sadly, that was the truth. Hampton passed away right there, on the stage where he belonged. Hampton's passing was a tremendous loss to the music world, especially within the jam band and improvisational music community. His death serves as a profound reminder of life's fragility, even when at the peak of one's passion. Dick Shawn, comedian, dies as audience. Thinks it's a joke. In April 1987, comedian Dick Shawn delivered a hilarious and creative performance to about 500 audience members at the University of California, San Diego. He began with an act impersonating a severed head on a dinner table, followed by a comically offbeat dance. Shawn then transitioned to a performance about the apocalypse in which he lay motionless on stage, leading the audience to believe he was playing dead, perfectly fitting the theme of global annihilation he was portraying. Initially, the audience continued to laugh and joke, thinking it was part of the act, with remarks like, "Take his wallet," blending into the atmosphere. However, the laughter slowly died down as Shawn remained still for over 5 minutes. Then, a doctor rushed onto the stage, checked his pulse, and turned Shawn onto his back. The audience was asked to leave while medical staff attempted to resuscitate Shawn. An ambulance siren wailed and he was quickly taken to the hospital. However, all efforts were in vain. Shawn was confirmed to have died from a heart attack, less than 2 hours after the performance began. His death was a huge shock, particularly because it occurred right before the audience's eyes. Those who had witnessed a masterful performance and a tragically ironic end, where truth was hidden amidst laughter and innocence. Tommy Cooper, magician, dies amidst audience laughter. In April 1984, Welsh comedian and magician Tommy Cooper delivered a vibrant performance on the variety show Live from Her Majesty's, which was broadcast live across the UK from Her Majesty's Theatre in London. Cooper performed his famous magic cloak act, where he humorously produced increasingly large items from beneath a massive cloak, to the audience's delight. The host, Jimmy Tarbuck, served as Cooper's assistant for this act. Tarbuck explained that the skit was meant to culminate when he handed Cooper a stepladder, comically implying it was too large to conceal under the cloak, highlighting the playful absurdity of the performance. However, the performance took an unexpected and tragic turn. After a routine involving a beautiful assistant, Cooper suddenly collapsed onto the stage. Host Jimmy Tarbuck initially thought it was part of an improvised comedic bit, and the audience also reacted with loud laughter, completely unaware they were witnessing a real-life emergency. This was no joke. It was the naked truth of fate. Heartbreakingly, Cooper, 63, suffered a heart attack right during the live broadcast. In a split-second decision, the show's director immediately cut to an unplanned commercial break to spare home viewers the distressing sight of Cooper being quickly taken off stage. He was then rushed to the hospital and pronounced dead upon arrival. His death was a profound tragedy, as the last laughter he received was not for his performance but for the moment he passed away, a haunting irony in the history of art. Owen Hart, WWE wrestler, falls to his death from great height. In the 1990s, Owen Hart carved his name as one of the most beloved and electrifying figures in WWE, sharing the ring and wrestling legacy with his brother Bret, the Hitman Hart. In May 1999, at the Over the Edge event, Hart was scheduled to make a spectacular entrance as the arrogant superhero character Blue Blazer, to be lowered into the ring from high above using a complex wire rigging system. Unfortunately, a catastrophic failure of this system caused Hart to fall 78 feet, over 23 meters, striking the top rope before collapsing into the ring. A fatal fall that claimed his life. A terrifying silence enveloped the 16,000 spectators at Kansas City's Kemper Arena, and commentator Jim Ross faced the grim task of announcing that what they had just witnessed was not part of the act. Television viewers fortunately did not see the horrific scene as the broadcast was replaying highlights of Hart's previous matches at that moment, completely unaware of the unfolding tragedy. Hart, who had just turned 34, was quickly taken to a nearby hospital and pronounced dead. His death was a huge shock, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of fans and the professional wrestling world, a tragedy about the fragility of the human body against the limits of high-performance sports. Irma Bule, Indonesian singer bitten to death by cobra on stage. Do you remember that iconic moment in 2001 when Britney Spears performed with a python at the MTV Video Music Awards? Now imagine a scenario where that snake wasn't safely handled, leading to Spears being bitten and fatally injured. Heartbreakingly, this scenario became a reality for Irma Bule, a singer from Indonesia. In 2016, during a performance in Karawang, Indonesia, 29-year-old Irma Bule used a live snake, none other than a king cobra, as a prop in her act, a practice she had been familiar with for years. However, from the very first moments of the performance, just during her second song, the snake bit her on the thigh. Due to her past familiarity with using non-venomous, safely muzzled pythons, Bule underestimated the danger. She believed the cobra had been rendered safe, either defanged or venom removed. Unfortunately, this time, no such precautions were taken, yet Bule was encouraged to continue her performance. Approximately 45 minutes after the bite, right there on stage, Bule began to vomit and experience seizures. She was swiftly transported to a local hospital but was pronounced dead. Irma Bule's death was a shocking tragedy, a painful warning about the hidden dangers in daring performances and the recklessness of humans when facing nature's instincts. Tiny Tim, iconic singer, passes away to the tune of his hit song. Tiny Tim was a truly unique artist in the music world, known for his extraordinary ability to create hits. With a tall, lanky frame, completely contradicting his stage name, he delivered songs with a remarkably high, quavering, and delicate voice. His cover of the classic Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me became a cultural phenomenon, climbing to number 17 on the Billboard Pop chart in 1968, his performance further marked by his signature ukulele accompaniment. Adding to his unusual fame, Tiny Tim married a 17-year-old fan named Vicky on The Tonight Show in 1969, a broadcast watched by a staggering 21.4 million households, setting a viewership record for Johnny Carson's show at the time. Tiny Tim's life was as extraordinary as his persona, and his death mirrored his unending passion for bringing joy to his audience. On the evening of November 30th, 1996, he was performing at a fundraising event hosted by the Women's Club of Minneapolis. Midway through his iconic song, Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Me, he suddenly stopped playing and told his wife, Susan Gardner, he had divorced Vicky years prior, that he wasn't feeling well. Shortly thereafter, the 64-year-old entertainer collapsed and tragically passed away a few hours later at a Minneapolis hospital, likely due to cardiac arrest. Tiny Tim departed as he had lived, bringing joy to his audience until his last breath. His death was a deeply emotional end to a colorful and distinctive artistic life. Barbara Weldens, doomed vocalist and an electric shock on stage. The talented French singer-songwriter Barbara Weldens was on the cusp of conquering the music scene with her enchanting voice and unique performance style, when her burgeoning career and life was abruptly cut short by a tragic accident on stage. In 2017, at the age of 35, Weldens had just released her acclaimed debut album, Le Grand H de l'Homme, and was the headlining artist at the Léo Ferré Festival, held within a church in the small French village of Gourdon. Those present recounted that Weldens delivered an exceptional performance, which was met with enthusiastic applause. Basking in the adulation, she suddenly and unexpectedly collapsed. Initial assessments regarding the cause of this horrifying event were speculative, but it was later suggested that an electrical fault might have led to Weldens' cardiac arrest. Subsequently, an autopsy confirmed electrocution as the cause of death. It was noted that Weldens had chosen to perform barefoot, and tragically, this may have led her to step on an electrified wire, resulting in her untimely death. Barbara Weldens passed away instantly at the scene. Her tragic and sudden death was a massive shock to the French music community and the world, a grim reminder of the hidden dangers that even the safest artistic spaces can conceal. Hijo del Perro Aguayo, tragic death of Mexican wrestler. In March 2015, a dramatic match took place within AA, Mexico's wrestling equivalent to WWE, featuring two of its brightest stars, Hijo del Perro Aguayo, real name Pedro Aguayo Ramirez, and Rey Mysterio Jr., real name Oscar Gutierrez. Aguayo was known as the preeminent rudo, or villain, in AAA. In that match, Mysterio executed a powerful flying kick, propelling Aguayo toward the ropes with such force that Aguayo's head struck them, leading to a severe spinal injury. As Aguayo remained motionless on the mat, both Mysterio and the referee quickly realized the seriousness of the situation and called for medical assistance. However, the response was painfully slow, with the attending physician taking a full 80 seconds to arrive, a period during which timely intervention might have been possible. The Tijuana Wrestling Commission later revealed that Aguayo's untimely death at 35 was due to a heart attack, the primary cause of which was a stroke triggered by a broken neck. 14. Sam Patch, the fearless man and his fateful last jump. The shock and sorrow that reverberate through a crowd upon witnessing the death of a performer are profoundly deep, whether it be an actor, a singer, or a professional daredevil. The inherent risks in daredevilry perhaps make such an outcome less surprising, though no less tragic. Sam Patch, known as the famous daredevil of the early 19th century, was renowned for his breathtaking leaps from the top of Passaic Falls in New Jersey into the waters below. With each attempt, his performances grew bolder, attracting increasingly large audiences. In 1829, a grand narrative was set. On the fateful Friday, November 13th, Patch was to perform his last jump, leaping from a 125-foot platform into the high falls of the Genesee River in Rochester, New York. The phrase "last jump" was originally meant to signal the end of the performing season. However, a cruel twist of fate interpreted that phrase with a grim literalness. The New York Evening Post documented the unfortunate event, noting that halfway through his descent, Patch's posture suddenly and disastrously changed. His body slackened, his arms outstretched, his legs splayed. His form was catastrophically incorrect. Upon impact with the water, the horrifying happened, and Patch did not resurface. His body was found 4 months later, 6 miles downstream, encased in a block of ice. A subsequent examination determined the cause of Patch's death mid-fall was a ruptured blood vessel, believed to be due to sudden exposure to the freezing cold air of November. Sam Patch lived a life full of daring and passed away in the most tragic way, becoming a legend about the cost of recklessness and the irony of fate. Jane Little, devoted bassist until her last note. To spend one's final moments immersed in a passionate pursuit is a prospect both heartbreaking and startling for onlookers. Yet for some, such an end carries a profound meaning. This sentiment seems perfectly fitting for Jane Little, a dedicated double bass artist who devoted her entire life to the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra, ASO. Her journey with the ASO began in 1945, when she was just 16 years old, and her dedication spanned an extraordinary 7 decades. Little's lifelong loyalty to music did not go unnoticed. In February 2016, she was recognized by Guinness World Records for having the longest tenure with an orchestra, marking a grand 71 years with the ASO. However, a few months after this honor, in May 2016, the delicate rhythm of Little's life ceased. During a performance honoring Broadway's golden age, through a series of classic stage melodies, the 87-year-old artist, who was undergoing cancer treatments and reportedly quite frail, passionately continued to play. Right in the middle of the iconic song "There's No Business Like Show Business," Little took her last breath, collapsing with her bass still in hand. Swiftly moved backstage, it was there that her passionate heart beat its final note. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment "OK" if you find this video interesting. 16. Juan Jumalon, the last voice on live radio. On November 5, 2023, Filipino radio broadcaster Juan "Johnny Walker" Jumalon was tragically murdered while broadcasting live. Juan Jumalon, a beloved personality known for his lighthearted radio program on 94.7 Gold Mega Calamba FM, where he spread positive vibes and jokes. He was not a sensational news reporter or involved in controversies. He simply brought joy to his listeners. The attack occurred early in the morning at Jumalon's home in Calamba, Misamis Occidental, where he conducted his program. Two men appeared under the guise of wanting to announce lost belongings, a seemingly harmless situation. In a flash, that facade crumbled. One attacker held a staff member at gunpoint, while the other stormed straight into the radio booth and shot Jumalon twice. The assailant then stole a necklace and quickly fled with his accomplice on a motorcycle. The entire devastating incident was captured live on Facebook stream and CCTV, turning his final moments into a public tragedy that shocked society. Juan Jumalon's death was a profound shock, not only because of its brutal nature, but also because it happened live before thousands of viewers. The incident serves as a painful warning about the dangers even those in seemingly harmless professions can face, and about the dark corners hidden within everyday life. Pedro Henrique, Brazilian guitar star, collapses in fiery performance. Pedro Henrique was a Brazilian guitarist admired for his energetic stage presence and exceptional skill. He had contributed to many famous bands and built a successful solo career, with a passionate and emotional guitar-playing style that captivated millions of music lovers. On the night of March 12, 2023, Henrique, at just 39 years old and at the peak of his career, was performing at a music festival in Sao Paulo. He was immersed in an exhilarating performance, electrifying the audience with every note, every energetic movement. Suddenly, without any warning, Henrique collapsed right on stage, stunning and shocking thousands of spectators. The music abruptly ceased, giving way to a deadly silence, an eerie stillness that enveloped the venue. Medical personnel rushed forward urgently, trying to get him to the hospital. Despite receiving immediate emergency care, Pedro Henrique was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. The cause was later determined to be a heart attack. His death was a huge shock to fans, friends, and colleagues, a painful reminder of life's fragility, even for those whose hearts burn brightest for art and who possess the most vibrant vitality. Do these stories make you reflect on the sacrifice and courage of artists? Comment yes if you feel moved and empathetic. Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter and his unexpected death underwater. Steve Irwin, nicknamed the Crocodile Hunter, with his radiant smile and intense passion for the wild, became a global icon. He was not only a television star, but also a true conservationist, carrying a message of love for nature to millions worldwide. In the fall of 2006, Irwin was filming the documentary Ocean's Deadliest at the legendary Great Barrier Reef. The tranquil setting of the deep blue ocean was about to be shattered by a fateful, unforeseen moment. While swimming near an 8-foot stingray, a creature usually docile, tragedy struck suddenly. The stingray abruptly whipped its sharp tail, its venomous barb piercing directly into Irwin's chest, striking his heart. That entire horrifying moment was captured by the camera, a heartbreaking scene that the world would never publicly witness, out of respect for his legacy and family. The film crew, stunned by the event, tried their best to save him, but all efforts were in vain. Steve Irwin, a symbol of courage and love for nature, passed away at 44. His death not only shocked the world, but was also a tremendous loss for wildlife conservation. His legacy, his adventurous spirit, and his love for all living souls live on in the hearts of his fans, serving as a profound reminder of life's fragility when facing wild nature. Mitsuharu Misawa, Japanese wrestling legend, collapses in the ring. Mitsuharu Misawa, a towering figure in Japanese professional wrestling, was known for his intense fighting style, breathtaking aerial maneuvers, and supreme technique. He was a living legend, dedicating his entire life to his passion and the wrestling ring, captivating the hearts of millions of fans across the land of the rising sun. And on the fateful night of June 13, 2009, in Hiroshima, Misawa participated in a live tag team match. The atmosphere in the arena was electric with the fervent cheers of thousands of spectators. Misawa was lifted by an opponent to execute a suplex, a familiar yet risky technique. In an instant, all eyes were on Misawa as he suddenly collapsed to the mat, unconscious. The initial vibrant atmosphere instantly turned into a frightening silence, the only sound being the held breaths of thousands. Officials, medical staff, and other wrestlers rushed to his side, performing CPR right there in the ring. Thousands of spectators and television viewers held their breath, witnessing the tragic scene unfold live before their eyes. It was not a staged act, it was the raw truth of fate. Misawa was quickly taken to the hospital but was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. The cause was determined to be a severe spinal cord injury. His death was a huge shock, leaving an irreplaceable void in the hearts of fans and the professional wrestling world. A tragedy about the fragility of the human body against the limits of high-performance sports. Juan Carlos Formell, Cuban music legend, passes away on stage. Juan Carlos Formell, a highly acclaimed Cuban musician and composer, left a profound mark on Latin music. He was renowned for his versatile talent, from playing guitar and lead vocals to composing and arranging vibrant tunes. Formell was not just an artist but also a part of Cuba's musical heritage, known for blending traditional elements with modern sounds to create a unique style. On May 26, 2023, during an energetic performance in the Bronx, USA, Formell was giving his all to the audience, as always. He was immersed in the melody, delivering captivating sounds to his ardent fans. But suddenly, a tragic incident occurred. At 59, at the height of his performance, Formell unexpectedly collapsed on stage. The lively atmosphere immediately shifted to shock and concern. Despite receiving immediate medical attention, Formell passed away shortly after, due to a heart attack. His sudden death was a massive shock to the Cuban music world and the global fan community. He passed away doing what he loved, leaving behind a rich musical legacy and an endless sorrow for a talent forever rested on the stage of life. The heartbreaking stories we've just explored are a grim reminder of life's fragility and the unconditional dedication of artists. They lived, loved, and performed until their last breath, right where they belonged, leaving an indelible legacy in the history of art and in our hearts. Amy Lo Cain. Life Amy Lo Cain, from the limelight to a heartbreaking tragedy, faced with the dire consequences of her irresponsible choices. The actress, once remembered for her role in Melrose Place and her beauty and talent that made an impression on screen, was involved in a tragic traffic accident while driving under the influence of alcohol, causing the death of one woman and seriously injuring another. Just one wrong moment forever changed the fate of countless people. She was sentenced to 8 years in prison, a sentence that has associated her name with tragedy rather than the glamour of the entertainment world. It was a harsh reminder of the fragility of fame. Amy Lo Cain's story is a heartbreaking reminder of the devastation that driving under the influence can cause, not only taking lives but also ruining the lives of those who caused the accident, a lesson learned at great length. R. Kelly. Behind R. Kelly's seductive melodies is a decades-long web of criminal behavior, using fame and power to manipulate and control young fans, exposing a dark truth. This horrifying truth has shocked not only the music industry but the entire world. R. Kelly, once honored as the king of R&B with global hits, building a music empire, has now become one of the most scandalous figures in music history. He was convicted of leading a criminal organization that committed many serious wrongdoings. A great musical talent has collapsed without breaks. The court sentenced R. Kelly to 30 years in federal prison, a sentence that marked the complete downfall of a music icon. His story is a powerful warning about the corruption of power and the dire consequences when trust is abused for evil purposes, leaving an indelible stain. Did the full truth about R. Kelly leave you speechless? Comment yes if it hit you hard, or no if you already knew what lurked beneath the fame. Joe Exotic. Joe Exotic has become infamous for more than just his tigers. He was once the eccentric and flamboyant star of the hit series Tiger King, with his unique style and exotic animals. But then he was convicted of conspiring to hire a hitman to kill animal rights activist Carole Baskin, along with committing horrifying animal abuse at his zoo, an act that sparked global outrage. This truth has made many people rethink the colorful entertainment world. Ambition and hatred led him down a path of crime with no return. From a colorful zoo owner on screen, Joe Exotic was sentenced to 21 years in prison, a sentence that has kept him behind bars forever, Joe's story is a vivid illustration of the crossing of moral boundaries and the dire consequences when ambition and hatred lead to crime, turning an entertainer into a convicted criminal. Jen Shah. From lavish parties, designer lifestyles, and a glamorous reality TV image, Jen Shah was the embodiment of the no-holds-barred lifestyle on The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. But that glamour quickly came crashing down when she was convicted of running a massive telemarketing scam that targeted seniors and vulnerable victims. The shock was even greater when Shah pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 6.5 years in federal prison, a sentence that effectively ended the fame and image she had built. Jen Shah's downfall is not just the story of a fallen TV star, but also a bitter wake-up call. Greed and deception, even masked by glamour, eventually pay a heavy price in court. Roman Polanski. Roman Polanski, the Polish-French film director known worldwide for his profound and artistic cinema, faced serious legal charges in 1977, involving a 13-year-old girl, Samantha Geimer. The case centered on allegations of inappropriate behavior and unlawful conduct with a minor, which severely affected his career and public standing. Despite his talent, his morals were questioned. Prior to his sentencing hearing in 1978, Polanski fled the United States to France, where he has remained ever since, continuing his filmmaking while living in legal exile as a fugitive from the U.S. justice system. The incident remains a dark spot in his illustrious career. Ian Watkins. Ian Watkins was found guilty of multiple charges of child abuse, including dark acts involving young victims, exposing a dark and terrifying truth that lurked behind the limelight and fame. The horrific truth about Watkins sent shivers down the spine of the world. The former lead singer of the rock band Lost Prophets, he is now remembered not for his hit songs or his fiery performances, but for one of the most horrific criminal cases in music history. The chilling charges shocked the public deeply and forever linked Watkins to depravity. The court sentenced him to 35 years in prison, a harsh sentence that reflected the severity of his crimes. From a rock star beloved by millions, Ian Watkins became a symbol of moral decadence and living proof that a life can be completely ruined by unforgivable acts. Suge Knight. C. Knight's life spiraled into chaos after he was involved in a fatal hit-and-run accident in 2015, an event that shocked the entertainment world. Suge Knight, the infamous co-founder of Death Row Records, had long been known as a formidable force in West Coast rap, shaping a powerful and influential era of music. From a music mogul with unlimited power, he faced justice and eventually reached a plea deal that resulted in a 28-year prison sentence. Suge Knight's downfall is a reminder of the risks that come with absolute power, exposing the dark side of power and the unintended consequences when a life entangled with violence and the law leads to the destruction of an empire. What a shame for a musical talent. Shannon Richardson. Shannon Richardson, a former television actress who appeared on shows like The Walking Dead with her normal yet mysterious appearance, became infamous not for her roles but for a horrific real-life crime. She sent letters laced with ricin, a deadly biological toxin, to President Barack Obama and several other political figures, posing a serious threat to national security. The act sent shockwaves across the United States, and no one expected it. From the small screen to the courtroom, Richardson was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison. It was heartbreaking to see an actress choose such a sinful path. Her story is a terrifying testament to how shocking and dangerous acts can sometimes come from unexpected places, and how the legal consequences are always serious, regardless of celebrity status, warning that extreme behavior can lead to destruction. Darren Sharper. C. Darren Sharper's life took a dark turn when his name was associated with a series of heinous crimes. Darren Sharper, a former NFL quarterback with an illustrious and widely known sports career, held a firm place in the hearts of fans. He was convicted of multiple charges related to the use of narcotics to incapacitate victims and committing crimes against women, a series of acts that shocked and horrified the public. From a sports hero, Sharper faced justice in 2016 and received a 20-year prison sentence. His sporting glory was forever overshadowed by his heinous crimes, a painful fall from the pinnacle of fame to the depths of sin. Darren Sharper's downfall is a heartbreaking story of how a successful athlete can lose it all, and a powerful warning about the dangers of abusing power and status to commit unforgivable acts that destroy a life. Aaron Hernandez. Tragedy struck in June 2013 when the star was arrested in connection with the death of Odin Lloyd, a semi-professional player, an event that shook the sports and media world. Aaron Hernandez was once a shining star on the NFL field, a promising player with a multi-million-dollar contract with the New England Patriots, expected to make sports history. No one expected that such a great talent could sink so deep into the quagmire of sin. The confrontation with justice finally ended in a life sentence without parole in April 2015, sealing the fate of a talent at the peak of his powers. This incident will forever be an indelible stain in the history of sports. Although later acquitted of another murder case, Hernandez was found dead in prison days later, leaving behind a haunting legacy of the irreversible fall of a would-be star. A heartbreaking tragedy of fame and sorrow. Ryan Grantham. He made a shocking confession to causing the death of his own mother. A confession that shocked and saddened the public. Ryan Grantham, a familiar face from the series Riverdale, with a gentle appearance and promising acting talent, experienced a dramatic and tragic fall from actor to prisoner, shocking the world. This truth exposed a horrifying dark side of the young star's life. The court found him guilty of second-degree murder, and after an emotional trial, Grantham was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole for 14 years. From a bright future, now only the darkness of prison. From a young star with a bright future, Grantham is now imprisoned in the darkness of prison. A heartbreaking testament to the hidden tragedies behind the glittering lights of Hollywood, where wrongdoing ultimately faces the harshest punishment under the law. Elizabeth Holmes. Elizabeth Holmes, once hailed as a revolution in healthcare technology with her company Theranos, a young woman full of ambition and vision, has become a symbol of failure and deception. With bold claims about her groundbreaking blood testing capabilities, she attracted millions of dollars in investment from powerful figures and even the military. However, her dreams were shattered when Theranos' technology was exposed as non-existent, leading to her conviction for fraud and conspiracy to defraud investors. A young genius fell prey to her own ambition and lies. Elizabeth Holmes, a celebrated CEO, now faces a very different reality: prison bars. Her story is a powerful testament to the dangers of unbridled greed. Her downfall was swift and dramatic, serving as a stark warning about the dangers of greed and lack of transparency in the technology industry. Allison Mack. From a teen idol, Mack was plunged into a shocking scandal that exposed the dark side of the entertainment industry. The beloved star of the series Smallville shocked the entertainment world when she was arrested in connection with a controversial self-help organization that was later exposed as a dangerous criminal cult. The cult's allure led her down a wrong path. She was eventually sentenced to 3 years in prison, a sentence that completely overshadowed her career and public image. A life destroyed because of bad choices. Allison Mack's story is a warning about the dangers of manipulative cults and how celebrities can be drawn into wrongdoing, leading to serious and irreversible consequences that ruin lives. Danny Masterson. The entertainment world is not short of tragedies hidden behind the spotlight. From a symbol of humor and success, Masterson quickly became the center of a public trial that exposed horrifying secrets. Danny Masterson, once a beloved star of that 70s show, with his bright smile and comedic talent, captured the hearts of audiences. His life took a tragic turn when many brave women stood up to denounce serious wrongdoings involving many victims, shattering the beautiful image he had built. In the end, he was sentenced to 30 years to life in prison, a tragic fall from the pinnacle of fame to the depths of scandal and prison bars. No one can escape justice, no matter how great the reputation. Masterson's story is clear evidence that no halo is bright enough to obscure the long arm of justice, and every action has inevitable consequences. Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, the boxing legend known as the baddest man on the planet, and whose punches made history, had a troubled childhood and numerous run-ins with the law. Despite his boxing career's glory, his life outside the ring was tumultuous and filled with bad choices. In 1992, he was convicted in a case involving serious allegations of misconduct against 18-year-old Desiree Washington. The case shocked not only the sports world but also the public. He was sentenced to 6 years in prison and served nearly 3 years before being released in 1995. Mike Tyson's life is a complex testament to a great sportsman who struggled with deep personal issues and the serious consequences of his actions, showing that fame cannot shield a person from justice. Skylar DeLeon. DeLeon's crimes were not only shocking but also chilling. The horrific murder of Tom and Jackie Hawks, a retired couple who were brutally duped, exposed cunning and inhumanity. Skylar DeLeon, who once had acting ambitions and a small role in the legendary Power Rangers series, wrote his own tragic script, a tragedy that culminated in a life sentence. He and his accomplices staged a terrifying boat trip, tied them up, forced them to sign over ownership of the yacht, and then threw them overboard, still alive and bound, in an act of unbelievable brutality. The barbaric act shocked the public, leaving them in disbelief. This inhuman act permanently deprived Skylar of his freedom, pushing him from his lavish Hollywood dreams into the harsh darkness of a cramped cell with a life sentence. Greed had turned a man into a monster. He is living proof of the destruction that greed and cruelty can cause to a person. Burt Reynolds' Palm Beach. Once a symbol of opulence, Burt Reynolds' Palm Beach mansion now stands as a ghostly relic of faded fame. This sprawling estate, once buzzing with the energy of Hollywood's elite, now lies abandoned, a mere shadow of its former glory. Built in 1980, Reynolds' Riverside Palace was a bold statement of wealth and style. Situated along the Intracoastal Waterway, the mansion boasted lush gardens, a magnificent pool, and panoramic views stretching to the horizon. Inside featured marble floors, exquisite chandeliers, and rooms designed to host stars like Tom Selleck and Sally Field. It was the perfect backdrop for lavish parties and intimate gatherings with A-list stars. Reynolds, the quintessential embodiment of 70s and 80s charm, had found his dream home, a paradise befitting a Hollywood icon. But as Reynolds' career waned and his finances struggled, the mansion too began to decline. The mansion was once foreclosed by the bank, then left vacant for many years. Legal battles and a string of personal troubles led to its abandonment. The house, once vibrant with parties, now lay silent, its magnificent spaces echoing only the ghosts of the past, with images of the mansion desolate, covered in moss, the old screening room like a cursed museum. Even listed for just $1, buyers remained wary of the property, deterred by its dilapidated state and the specter of its troubled past, and it was also difficult to sell, due to being too personalized and the somber atmosphere after Reynolds' lonely death. Overgrown foliage now engulfs the once pristine gardens, and the mansion itself stands as a forgotten monument to a bygone era. Will this cursed estate ever find a courageous new owner? Britney Spears' Mansion. Britney Spears once owned not one, but 2 splendid mansions, each now a silent monument to the dizzying highs and agonizing lows of fame. Her first mansion in Thousand Oaks, California, purchased in the early 2000s, was a magnificent Italianate estate, boasting panoramic views of the Sunset Strip, expansive living spaces, and a secluded ambiance. It was designed to be the pop princess's private paradise, where she could escape the chaos of her career. However, the mansion's allure faded as unusual experiences emerged. Spears reportedly sensed a portal to another dimension within, causing her to abruptly leave in 2003. She sold this mansion to actress Brittany Murphy, who tragically passed away there in 2009 under mysterious circumstances. Murphy's husband, Simon Monjack, also died in the house months later, deepening the property's grim reputation. Despite major renovations aimed at dispelling the darkness, the mansion struggled to find new owners and was one of her old villas that was abandoned after Britney fell into crisis. Would anyone dare to own this palace of pop history, or would it remain a forgotten relic in a star's tumultuous journey? Keith Richards' Mansion. Keith Richards' mansion in Weston, Connecticut, was once a rock and roll paradise of indulgence, a place where one of history's most iconic guitarists could relax without media scrutiny. Purchased in the late 1970s, it was an expansive property, offering secluded luxury across 50 acres, a sanctuary from the chaos of the music world, providing space for notorious parties, all-night jam sessions, and quiet family moments. It exuded a relaxed and rebellious demeanor, much like Richards himself. But the mansion's story took a turn as the years passed and the house became entwined with the complexities of Richards' personal life. After the end of his marriage to supermodel Patty Hansen, the house fell into disrepair, once raided by police, then abandoned for a period. The estate, once the setting for a glorious life, began to show signs of decay. The once manicured gardens were reclaimed by nature, much like the rock star's own struggles with the challenges of fame and addiction, linked to LSD rituals, the occult, and rock and roll darkness, rumored to be a place possessed by the Rolling Stones' spirit. Despite being on the market for many years, the mansion remained unsold. Its association with Richards' past and massive maintenance costs deterred potential buyers. Additionally, Keith Richards' penthouse in New York, purchased in 2014 for $10.5 million, faced similar difficulties. Despite its luxurious and modern design with marble floors, soaring ceilings, and panoramic city views, it was listed for $12.23 million in 2016, but still struggled to find a buyer. Ultimately, Richards had to sell it for $9 million in 2018, incurring a significant loss, proving that even rock legends are not immune to the harsh realities of the high-end real estate market. Liza Minnelli's mansion. Nestled deep in the ancient Hollywood Hills, Liza Minnelli's childhood mansion is now more of a haunting memory than a home. Built in 1925, this mansion once served as the stage for legendary parties hosted by her father, Vincente Minnelli, and a cherished sanctuary for an entertainment royal family. After Vincente passed away in 1986, the property fell into a legal labyrinth. Liza inherited it, but a final wish allowed her father's last wife, Lee, to reside there for life. When Lee stubbornly refused to leave, the house fell into limbo, and after her passing in 2009, no one returned to restore its faded splendor. Urban explorers tell of stepping through dilapidated gates into rooms frozen in time, ornate wallpaper peeling like old stage makeup, grand pianos covered in dust, and old film reels scattered across the floors. Ghost stories clung to the walls. Neighbors claimed to hear faint jazz music drifting through shattered windows. And some say Liza herself refused to drive past it. The estate, once a sparkling emblem of Hollywood's golden age, has become a dilapidated shrine to lost fame. Its legends echo louder than any offer dared to emerge, like a crumbling relic haunted not just by time, but by family secrets and fading renown. Mike Tyson's mansion. At the peak of his boxing career, Mike Tyson lived like a king, and his Ohio mansion was the proof. Spanning over 25,000 square feet, this colossal estate was Tyson's personal palace during his career's zenith. It had it all: marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and opulence in every corner. Even the bathroom fixtures were real gold-plated. But what truly set it apart were the wild touches that could only belong to Iron Mike. A massive indoor pool larger than most homes, tiger enclosures on the property, yes, actual cages where Tyson kept his legendary pet tigers, and a private basketball court. Not just for casual games, it was large enough to hold 1,000 people. The place felt less like a mansion and more like a monument to excess. After Tyson's financial collapse and legal troubles in the early 2000s, this mansion fell into severe disrepair, abandoned for many years after Tyson went bankrupt. Inside featured tiger cages, a filthy pool, a moldy living room, like a horror movie set, a place reflecting the downfall of a legend. The boxer, once worth hundreds of millions of dollars, filed for bankruptcy in 2003. The house, too lavish and too notorious, was left abandoned for years. The gold-plated fixtures tarnished, the tiger cages rusted in silence. Now, trees grew through the once meticulously maintained tennis court, and the once sparkling pool turned a murky, stagnant green. However, in an unexpected twist, the property found redemption. A local church acquired the mansion and transformed it into a place of worship. Where luxury once reigned, now faith and community flourished. A poetic redemption for Tyson's former palace. Madonna's mansion. Madonna's Hidden Hills mansion was exactly what you'd expect from the Queen of Pop. Bold, extravagant, and radiant with a superstar's touch. Located in one of California's most exclusive communities, this estate served as her private playground during a quieter phase of her life. Every corner of the house exuded luxury and personal style. Inside featured a luxurious theater where she reportedly watched her own music videos and tour footage. A dance studio with large mirrors was located nearby, clearly designed for hours of practice or self-reinvention. Each of the 7 bedrooms was designed like a 5-star suite, and the master bedroom was almost a private wing itself. Then there was the incredible wine cellar, custom built to hold 10,000 bottles because even her wine collection needed to be iconic. Outside, the pool was shaped like her distinctive M logo, a dazzling homage to her legacy. There was even a tennis court that could transform into a high-end dance floor with the push of a button, because when Madonna threw a party, it was never less than grand. But despite all that glamour, the mansion became cold, empty, and untouched. The vast villa abandoned after a short period of use due to its cold atmosphere, detached architecture, and being considered uninhabitable due to an unusual feeling. Potential buyers were scared away by the colossal maintenance costs. The climate control for the wine cellar and mirror studio alone cost more than many people's annual mortgage payments. It was a wonderland designed for a pop legend, but a logistical nightmare for anyone else. This house became a symbol of her changing lifestyle after her divorce from Guy Ritchie in 2008. Despite the appeal of its vast views and celebrity status, the house struggled to find a buyer. The price was reduced, but the house remained unsold and had to be fire-sold below its true value, left in desolate silence. Bob Hope's Mansion. Bob Hope's mansion in Toluca Lake, once a symbol of Hollywood elegance, now stands as a testament to the challenges of preserving celebrity legacies in real estate. Purchased in 1939, the Hope family transformed this property into a sprawling 5.2-acre retreat, featuring a 15,000-square-foot main residence, indoor and outdoor pools, formal gardens, a guest house, and a 3-hole golf course designed by Hope himself. This mansion became a hub for star-studded gatherings, reflecting the Hope family's prominence in entertainment and philanthropy. Bob and his wife Dolores cherished their time there, raising their family in a home that blended grandeur with a sense of coziness. However, after Dolores Hope's death in 2011, the property faced an uncertain future. Despite its historical significance, efforts to designate it as a historical cultural landmark were unsuccessful, leaving it vulnerable to redevelopment. In 2018, businessman Ron Burkle purchased the property for $15 million, with the intention of restoring its former splendor. After renovation, he listed it in 2022 for $29 million, and eventually sold it for $26 million. This transaction highlights the complexities of maintaining and valuing historic celebrity estates, balancing preservation with modern market demands. Bob Hope's mansion still stands as a symbol of Hollywood's golden age, and though time has taken its initial luster, it continues to commemorate the enduring legacy of a beloved entertainer. Love this video? Show some love with a like and a subscribe. Hate it? A like would still be awesome, and your feedback in the comments will help me improve. Howard Hughes Estate. Howard Hughes's Beverly Hills estate was like a labyrinth reflecting the complex and troubled mind of its owner. Purchased in the 1920s, the mansion was hidden behind high walls and dense vegetation, offering complete seclusion for a man who became increasingly reclusive. Its interior blended modern luxury with cutting-edge technology, reflecting Hughes's fascination with innovation in both aviation and his personal life. He even built a private airstrip on the grounds, allowing him to travel freely without interacting with the outside world. As his anxieties and eccentricities grew, Hughes incorporated secret rooms and passages into the design, ensuring absolute privacy. Whispers spread about his meticulous attention to detail, from furniture arrangement to precise temperature control in every room. By the 1940s and 1950s, as his mental state deteriorated, the mansion transformed from a luxurious refuge into a self-imposed prison. After Hughes succumbed to paranoia, the house became an abandoned fortress as he locked himself away, unbathed, unshaven, turning the mansion into a living tomb. Decades after his death in the 1970s, the house was sold and later demolished, shattering its mysterious presence in the area. However, the stories of Hughes's brilliance, paranoia, and secrecy persist, serving as a reminder that extraordinary talent often comes at a heavy price, and that solitude can offer both refuge and confinement. Marilyn Monroe's mansion. Tucked away behind a windswept coconut grove at 12,305 Fifth Helena Drive in Brentwood, this Spanish-style mansion of just under 2,500 square feet was once Marilyn Monroe's first home, and the place where she took her last breath. In the immediate aftermath of the shocking incident, the house fell into an eerie silence. What made the place eerie was not the yellowed walls, but the last bedroom where Monroe passed away, a small room that was always closed. Neighbors recounted seeing a yellow light flickering even though the electricity had been cut, and a ghost hunter's infrared camera captured a shadow passing by the windowsill, her platinum hair shimmering. The cleaning lady once confessed that the clock in the bathroom was still spinning without a battery, and the mirror where Marilyn looked at herself was always covered in steam at 3 a.m., the time she was found unconscious. Today, the Brentwood home has become a melancholy shrine to the legend. Hollywood. Peeling white paint, moss-covered brick walls, a front door stained with lipstick scribbled by fans. The historic value has many investors eager to own it, but each time they put it up for sale, they hesitate because of the chilling stories. From the sound of high heels echoing through the hallways to the lingering scent of Chanel No. 5, perfume that lingers and then disappears. Marilyn Monroe is gone, but the question of whether her spirit still lingers in Brentwood continues to anchor the house in eternal silence. So, in your opinion, was their final act a testament to the ultimate fragility of life, or an absolute homage to their burning passion for their craft? Comment yes if these stories deeply move you. No if you think differently and want to share your perspective.